Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Luke here, and welcome back Ghost again.
And Ghost here. What's up?
Yo. So today we're going to do another ecosystem analysis video, and today it's actually on Crowdz. Now, if you're relatively new to Quant, you probably haven't heard about them unless you do your research. But they are a bit of an older partner, at least over a year ago. And so today we thought we'd go over who Crowdz are, what they do, some of their connections, particularly to Quant and a few other players, and kind of what they are working on doing. So without further ado, I thought we'd just dive straight in. So basically, 21st of December 2018, Quant Network and Crowdz announced partnership. I think we'll just go through the press release first, so that's all right. Just make sure you shout out if there's anything that jumps out. All right. Quant Network is pleased to announce that they are partnering with Crowdz to connect their digital business-to-business network across multiple blockchains. Overledger's Quant Network's revolutionary blockchain product is the world's first blockchain operating system that only connects blockchains to one another, but also connects existing networks to blockchains. We know all this, interoperability. Let's just skip a little bit. Payson Johnson, president and CEO of Crowdz, a Silicon Valley trade finance and financial technology company, stated that although Crowdz uses the Ethereum blockchain as the foundation for our invoice auction exchange, we have needed a solution that allows for invoices and other documents to be transferred from one blockchain to another. For example, among Hyperledger, Corda, and EOS. With the Overledger solution from Quant Network, it is now possible to pass data among different blockchains. Crowdz looks forward to working with Quant Network to enable the true multi-blockchain environment that our customers demand. Right, so we can kind of see like common themes popping up here again. I guess we'll read what Gilby says. Gilbert, founder and CEO of Quant Network, stated that we're excited to partner with Crowdz so that we can provide their customers with more interoperability and choice. This is a great opportunity for us to demonstrate how valuable interoperability is for the financial services sector, combining it and interconnecting different blockchains to unlock value. There are huge possibilities for blockchain and trade finance and financial services entities that can leverage Overledger to bring new innovation and products to their customers. Cool. Maybe we'll just...
All right.
Should we skip through? I guess we just go straight to their site.
Well, we know about Quant.
Right.
And let's go into what Crowdz is then.
All right. Do you want to read it out? You can see the screen, yeah?
Yeah, sure, man. Absolutely.
Sweet.
So Crowdz builds a business-to-business invoice exchange platform for businesses to essentially finance their day-to-day operations. And so it's like, enhances speed, efficiency, and financial performance of global supply chains. Its CEO served 18 years for a supply chain senior manager for Cisco, which is pretty extensive. They ship a whole lot of product all around the world. Their network infrastructure is key. And so they have bank to bank, bank to client, e-commerce, blockchain, supply chain, business finance, yada yada. And so they have apparently have 7 patents, which is great. And they have a lot of reach already, even in this early stage. So I think we should go next into let's go to their website.
Sure. I was just going to point out, this is over a year ago, and the first prototype of their platform was being used by 240 companies. I mean, that's pretty decent.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on. Crowdz.
We'll go into what that means and who they're working with.
Right.
And I actually completely agree that it's a game changer. But beyond just the fact that there's an exchange, and this is where Quant really does extend Crowdz beyond itself. So
right, cool. So we'll just flick through. We
got
a
nice new logo, very eco-friendly with the dolphins.
Yeah, maybe we'll watch this video in a sec. It's only a minute long, but one-stop shop for business payments, simple send, pay, sell, chase dreams, not invoices. I mean, these are some interesting stats here. 400 billion invoices are still processed manually, have yet to go paperless. All right, so secure invoices, automated reconciliation, funders bid, low-cost payment. So I think it's kind of an all-in-one platform, kind of accounting, trade. It's all kind of in the same boat, pretty much. Should we watch the? What do you think? Should we watch the video?
Yeah, I mean it's only 46 seconds or 48.
Yeah.
Let's just,
We'll just,
yeah, 45.
Sending,
Here we go.
paying, and selling invoices is outdated. Email a PDF, fax a paper, and wait. And wait.
I can't hear anything on my end, which
Meanwhile,
is perfectly fine. I'm just trusting that
okay.
you're recording that.
Yeah, I can hear it. Oh, yep. Alright, I can hear it. So I think it's just I haven't shared the sound through Zoom.
No worries.
Alright,
You don't have to.
Just imagine what they're saying.
All right.
Your buyer is reconciling invoices, awaiting approvals, and paying. Now, there's a better way. Crowdz. We're modernizing business payments with a simple solution that makes cash flow faster for SMBs. Instantly send digitized, secure invoices, make business payments without the bank fees, and sell invoices for cash to get paid faster. Try Crowdz today.
Cool. So it gave a pretty guys couldn't hear it, but we all could. Pretty much just gave an overview of what they do. Digital exchange for invoices and trade and things like that. So we thought what we would do next, now that we've kind of given the overview, is kind of go into some of their connections, where the connection with Quant kind of grew from, and some of the clients and stuff that they're working with already. So again, apologize for my voice. I don't know if you guys can hear, but I got it's super smoky here, and it's like really hard for me to kind of talk. But pushing on.
It's fine. It's fine. I think it's good enough to move on from.
Sweet. So basically, this is like a headline that everyone will get all excited about. Barclays leads 5.5 funding round for trade finance blockchain startup Crowdz, right? Yesterday, I think we'll read through it, Ghost. What do you think? I don't know. I guess it'll give us some cool things.
Let's go.
Yesterday, Silicon Valley-based Crowdz announced its 5.5 million Series A funding round, led by Barclays and Bold Capital Partners, TFX Capital Partners, Techstars Ventures, interesting. First Derivatives, also interesting. Crowdz is an invoice exchange where SMEs can auction invoices to get trade financing from banks or hedge fund managers.
So the most important ones that we're going to cover today are Barclays, Techstars, and First Derivatives.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think we can just keep going. Let's get into Barclays.
All right, I want to read the one paragraph just because I think it's cool.
Which one?
This one. Technology-wise, Crowdz uses Ethereum but interoperates with other networks using Overledger. Last year, Johnson commented, "We have needed a solution that allows for invoices and other documents to be transferred from one blockchain to another." We just read that, but I thought it was cool that they threw that in the seed round, or well, not seed round, sorry, in the funding round article. But basically,
absolutely. I mean, someone's aware of Overledger. Thank God.
Thank goodness it's mentioned. All right. So Barclays, where do they come in? Barclay Rise. How would you describe it? Goes basically like an accelerator.
Basically,
fintech?
it's a Barclays incubator that is run in tandem with Techstars, which is an international accelerator firm.
Right.
So Barclays uses this in order to provide guidance, funding, and in general just shape the direction of the startups and allow them to put their best foot forward in order to survive in a really competitive business environment.
Right.
And Techstars has been really successful recently in seeding a whole bunch of blockchain projects, of which Crowdz is really notable. And we're going to talk about these two gentlemen later, but Chris Adelsbach and or however you say it, and Tariq Khan are key parts of both Quant and were key parts of Techstars, of which they've both broken off and they've actually formed their own venture capital. And I forgot the name of that, but
Outrun.
Anyways, for what this matters, we'll just keep going, I guess.
Right. So basically, you're probably thinking, how does it come into play? So Quant's initial office, correct me if I'm wrong, Ghost here, but they were initially set up in the Barclays building when they first started.
Yes.
You can see it's kind of being it's mentioned here as well for when was this? Kind of early on September. I think it was just before they got into their new offices a bit later on. What's next? Okay, this is kind of introducing the guys from Techstars, Chris and Tariq, who now are the leaders at Outrun Ventures. But I think we'll go into who Techstars are. So this is kind of the, what would you say, like the powerhouse behind the accelerator for Barclays Rise, would you say, I guess?
Yep, keep going.
So they're basically like a startup incubator. But why it's important to us, notably, is the guys who were, managing director and venture partners at Techstars, also are board members and directors for Quant, and they were, I'm guessing, early investors into Quant as well. And so we can see this kind of crossover between Crowdz, and I think it was actually Chris that suggested the, I should have pulled that up on LinkedIn, but I think it was Chris who suggested to the two companies to collaborate between Quant and Crowdz. So that was cool, kind of interesting. Chris is definitely
he definitely was a key facilitator of their meeting, which is pretty interesting, because it implies that he's also connecting them to other people as well. But let's not just assume that.
Yeah, there's a great quote on Telegram where we asked him about Rails Bank, and Gilbert was like, "Yeah, we've spoken to him and still in discussions and all this." But anyway, Tariq's kind of like the other half. Obviously, also was in Techstars and stuff. Excuse me. He's a director as well, and I'm not sure if he joined Outrun. Did he? I don't know. Could have sworn he did.
He did.
Yeah.
They're the core. It's Tariq and Chris.
Right. And so
they're homies.
They started their own kind of like venture capital thing, and it's good to see. Yep. Gilly was there.
There's Chris bragging about his companies that he invested in. So
yeah,
it's like, I got stake in all these guys.
Yeah, he's like, there I am, dude. All right, so basically you can kind of see the logical connection between Barclays and Techstars, Quant and Barclays Rise, Crowdz and Barclays Rise, and then how Quant and Crowdz kind of came together between those parties, right? I think we're all on the same page. I think we were going to play the first minute 30 of this because it kind of highlights the Barclays connection as well, and also brings up an interesting point. So I'll just play it. I'll actually share. Oh. Yeah, I'll share the sound with you so you can hear it, Ghost. All right.
Good afternoon. My name's Ed Black. I am Director of Innovation and Product at Barclays Payment Solutions. Absolutely delighted to be introducing Crowdz today, so much so, as you can see, I've got the T-shirt. Starting to worry I'm going a little bit native, maybe. So we've been working with the Crowdz team for several months now, and we're incredibly impressed by their knowledge and expertise in the market that they're operating in. The B2B supply chain market is completely untapped, and I think it's completely ripe for innovation and disruption, which is why we're so excited about this opportunity. I think by bringing together what we've got, which is scale, distribution, and a very large book of SMEs and corporates, and putting that together with the Crowdz capabilities and some of the innovation that they're working on, we've got a really powerful commercial opportunity in front of us. In my line of work, basically, we're trying to help companies sell stuff and trying to help companies buy stuff, and that's exactly what the Crowdz technology does. So without further ado to him or about it, let me introduce Payson Johnson from Crowdz.
100 years ago, my family imported product in and out of China, as you can see from this actual photograph. It was a highly manual process with a ton of paperwork. Today, China, the manufacturing capital of the world, has embarked on a $1 trillion project called One Belt, One Road. This ambitious program is recreating the ancient Silk trade routes to move even more product throughout Asia into all of Europe across 77 different countries. However, there's a glaring omission.
I think that's probably enough, but The things to
Yeah.
highlight there that I thought was actually something that I think is kind of relevant to Quant as well. He mentioned Barclays, the guy at Barclays was saying, we have reach and distribution, and Crowdz have innovation. I think that's kind of rings true for a lot of the like the ecosystem partners that Quant's kind of building, you know what I mean? Like the service integrators and things like that. It's kind of like the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, should we move on to the next people we want to talk about? First derivatives?
Yeah, sure. I mean, well, just to touch on what we said before. So it's obvious that like both Techstars and Barclays are promoting Crowdz, and Barclays is especially key because of their presence in Europe, and in an emphasis that Payson was making as well was his family's legacy connection to China, and then China's their attempt to reach out to the likes of the Middle East and Europe via their One Belt One Road project. And so you're going to see that Crowdz, for a startup, has pretty incredible reach into many different geographical areas, as well as like high level like participants of those geographical areas. Right here, Luke brought up Crowdz meeting with First Derivatives and their subsidiary KX Systems. Now, KX, I think, is like really cool. If we can go to the next tab, like that'd be good.
Yeah. Damn, I hope I don't lose my voice doing this, but here we go.
So KX is essentially like a leading provider of big data analytics and database management for high frequency trading. Like if we keep going on the next tab.
Was it this one? Or do you want the K programming one?
Well, that's actually sick.
Yeah, this
Like
one's interesting as
KX
well.
providing support to NASA and SETI to analyze the data they get from their satellites, and their satellites and their what was it? Their dishes
Space
as
weather.
well. Yeah, it's so cool.
Anyway.
So they must have very, very performant algorithms. And what's very cool about KX is that the founders of KX, as Luke is like hinting at right up there, with the K programming language, they developed this programming language. Like it and this is like apparently the standard for like database analytics. Very performant.
Right.
And it says, it mentions down here is that UBS had a 4-year like contract with them for exclusive use of this programming language. And it's become, open source now and kind of spread all across the industry. And so to have KX as a partner with Crowdz is very, very interesting. And I'm highly curious as to what they could do for each other.
Right.
So
KX is also a branch or subsidiary of First Derivatives, and they were also named Company of the Year and Technology Company of the Year, the AI Business Awards in 2019. But I think this is probably a good one here. So First Derivatives is a leading provider of products and consulting services to some of the world's largest finance, technology, energy institutions. Is developed with the world-leading database technology, KDB+, kind of like the same sort of thing. So focus on financial institutions that work cross-asset, often with multi-system and or high-volume trading activities, and supports a broad range of mission-critical data and trading systems.
I'm going to inject here a little bit.
Yeah.
Crowdz with First Derivatives represents an attempt, like along with Quant, to build what I like to call the next great financial product that I think people will be enamored by. So for a long time, bond people buying, like, bonds were a huge, like, novelty for as a financial instrument, right? We have stocks, obviously, which govern a company, and then you have like bonds, which represent debt that the company is owed in order to run their operations, right?
Right.
And then what's coming next is this like utility token, and I like to call this like the silent CBDC no one's talking about. And by that I don't mean central bank digital currency. I mean corporate-backed digital currency.
Interesting.
So like by this I mean like what's coming is that people can, via derivative products that First Derivatives and KX provide support for, and Overledger can connect ledgers that record these things, and then Crowdz provides a market for. Each company can essentially issue their own like currency that measures the liquidity flows of their product.
Jeez.
So like people who need like trade financing instantaneously can get so like right in that moment without having to go to any bank. It really frees up operational costs to not only be financed in real time, but also be represented in real time. And so like all the stock spikes you would see like from like, oh, this is our revenue that we announced, and it was like under or over expectations, like that can be completely ameliorated, like completely, just because you have a real-time data feed of the revenue from the token that they're using in order to finance and in order to embody their revenue flows.
Right. So is that is that what Gilbert? Sorry, was that what Gilbert was talking about at the Armenian Was it the Armenian conference as well on stage? Remember he mentioned corporate. He mentioned corporate tokens. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the potential it has.
Far out.
And I think him and Crowdz both see it.
Right.
And the thing is that like Crowdz is good for a meeting place for exchange, but every corporation will need their own blockchain in order to represent this. And so like they need to be empowered with DLT, that they then can be like go through Overledger to Crowdz in order to like exchange invoices and provide financing for their invoices.
A step ahead again, Ghost, man. A step ahead. Dropping bombs on me. So basically,
yeah, it's sick.
So you're saying that you're looking at, wow, it's a corporate-backed digital currency. So like tokenizing the company in like a far out.
Yeah, the day-to-day operations. It completely allows for a whole new level of autonomy for these private entities that I don't think we've ever seen before.
Right. Maybe we'll have to do a whole nother video on this and like break it down as well.
Well, yes, because there's a big theme emerging, which is like the digital new world.
Right.
We should definitely cover that.
All right, good. So, First Derivatives and KX kind of in bed, well, they're the same kind of entity as well, just like subsidiaries. Working with Crowdz, we just thought we would show you who FD works with. Couple of big boys. A bit of boast, a couple of that.
So many big names.
Yep. Cool. Did you want to say?
It'll go over. Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Oh yeah,
yep.
I didn't even notice that.
Pretty incredible.
Should we move on to? I think it's the state of Michigan here.
So when Crowdz was mentioning their product list that they had already, this is a key part of it.
Right.
And this is like Pure Michigan Business Connect, which is essentially a publicly sanctioned like digitization project for Michigan. So for like native small businesses in Michigan to like band together and represent themselves. And so like there's a screenshot I think Luke has next tab that shows how cool it is. So yeah, they just essentially, this is like an incubation or I guess like a union for Michigan businesses, a digital union for Michigan businesses, and they run $5 billion in contracts. I don't know if that's per year or to date. It seems like it's to date.
Right.
But because they're representing these Michigan businesses, and there are plenty of like native like corporations that have factories in Michigan. Look at all those international companies that are using Pure Michigan Business Connect in order to that interact with them at the very least. Like
Right.
the reach is pretty intense.
And so Crowdz is working alongside them to, I think they said here, digitizing. They wanted a goal of digitizing at least 500 Michigan-based small businesses by the end of 2018. Like, I mean, that's pretty high. So
That and this is American. Like, this is so powerful. Like, to have a distinctly American, like completely American initiative adopting DLT in mass.
right.
Like, so cool. Just the start.
I think that was kind of like the point of how we split up the things as well today. We were kind of talking about, their Barclays connections is their stronghold in Europe sort of thing. This Michigan Connect is kind of like a stronghold for them in the US. And then, of course, the family connections through China. And
China and Asia.
And then I think the next one we were going to talk about was POSCO as well, because I believe the Crowdz is already working with POSCO.
Yeah, so POSCO is like the number one producer of steel in South Korea. They have like, right now I think they're up to like 45 million tons of steel per year,
Right.
which is like number 5 in the world. And they have a joint venture with U.S. Steel, which I think is number 1. 1 second, let me look at that stat.
I think so. This is a pretty big company.
Oh wow, they're a lot smaller than I thought.
Their revenue was 60.87 billion in 2011. Can't imagine what it is
U.S.
now.
Steel is only 26, but it's still sick. So yeah, anyways, so you have representatives from like key parts of the the commodity infrastructure seeking to tokenize their asset flows in order to finance in real time these asset flows.
Right. So again, I mean, if Crowdz are working with these guys, 146th, the world's largest corporation, and as you mentioned, they're all kind of getting like that stronghold in different regions. These guys are based out of, I think it was South Korea, and yeah, I was just looking at the figures, dude. I mean, revenue in 2011, which is, far out. That's almost a decade ago now, but 60.87 billion US, 30,000 employees in 2009. I mean, that definitely needs an updating, but
it's pretty incredible that that companies already see the opportunity that like tokenizing their revenues can bring.
Yeah, I think,
and this is again just the start. Like this whole movement, I've seen like a lot of very smart people like call is like the biggest use case for blockchain.
we definitely need to do a video on that alone, digitizing corporations.
Yeah.
All right. What was I think the last small thing that I thought people in the crypto/blockchain space would find interesting was when Oracle, and you will know that Quant is connected in the Oracle startup program as well. Oracle had like a cohort for 20 projects that would join the Chainlink blockchain project, and Crowdz and Quant were both named together. Meanwhile, Fintech startup Crowdz building an all-in-one invoicing platform with Barclays. I mean, it's pretty clear there. And Crowdz is a partner of fellow participant Quant, which established the Overledger multi-chain network and blockchain operating system. Do you have any thoughts on what
look at also Monochain? Monochain is another Quant connected project that's involved with the retail blockchain consortium with UCL.
Right.
They're at the heart of that.
Right.
So that
Interesting.
There's a lot of strange overlapping between Oracle, Quant, and Chainlink that I think a lot of people are underestimating. So, if you own a bag of Link and Quant, you're gonna make it.
I think the guy who headed this up, I can't remember what his name was, but on Twitter, someone was asking like, if they could do like a quant startup program similar to Chainlink. Imagine that would be so cool if we could get like 20.
Yeah, it was just a little early for that. I think.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Like Chainlink first, because I think they've had like a longer history with Chainlink, but I think Quant is the next initiative they'll probably jump on.
I would agree, dude. All right.
Dude,
so
I want to say this one thing.
Yeah, go on.
Like, ISDA has that's just the International Swap and Derivatives Association. Like, they have such a like interesting potential like feelers into DLT.
Right.
And this is specifically through Barclays. Like ISDA and Barclays participated together in order to explore digitizing derivatives, which is first derivatives, and then also like blockchain interoperability. So like, and Chainlink obviously has like a deep like interest at the very least into derivatives. I'm not an expert in Chainlink fundamental analysis, but I do recall that like a lot of linkies connect like ISDA to Chainlink. So there's all these like really cool initiatives that are just bubbling under the surface that like companies like Crowdz just emblemize. They just represent. It's very cool.
Is very cool. Anything else we should do before we wrap up? Anything else you want to mention? I think we covered it all right.
Yeah, I think we're pretty solid on this one. What are we looking at in time?
30 minutes, so not too bad.
Oh wow, we actually didn't break the 40-minute mark. I think that's our first.
That's probably definitely a first. I don't think the Crowdz is still in beta, isn't it? The platform, I believe. I don't think it's fully operational yet. But yeah, I think that's it for today. Ghost, is that it? All good? Happy? Signing off?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, sounds great.
Thanks for
Y'all
tuning in.
Quamfy.
Yeah,
and
stay Quamfy. Keep an eye out for more content.
We'll see you next time.
Yeah.
I think we should definitely consider like using that consistently as like a sign off.
Right.
But, I mean, we are the Quamfy Lounge, so.
True. See you guys later. Stay comfy.
Yeah, see you.
Bye.